This is an insight from WellView 365, powered by freshnews.ai. Operators must own compliance, safety, and trust in healthcare environments as a live, visible waiting room operations function. Executive summary: waiting room screens are being treated as regulated clinical communication channels that must align with formal compliance, privacy, and safety policies. By bringing these displays under the same governance, approval, and review cycles as other patient-facing information, content becomes a controlled extension of clinical communications. The result is more consistent policy adherence on site and a more trustworthy, coherent patient experience across locations. Today's signal: annual compliance reviews and new budget cycles are pulling waiting room content under the same governance as other clinical communications. Gaps between policy updates and what patients see on screens are being treated as safety and trust risks. Teams are formalizing ownership, approval, and update cadence for many waiting room messaging within core operations. WellView 365 enables present a modern, trustworthy healthcare brand by standardizing core operational workflows across end-to-end delivery paths. Why it matters: here are 4 takeaways. First, on-screen messages can contradict current consent, privacy, or safety policies if they are not tied to the same update process as clinical documents. Second, uncontrolled local edits or outdated media on waiting room screens create visible inconsistencies that erode patient trust in the organization. Third, auditors and regulators increasingly expect alignment between written policies and all patient-facing communication, including digital signage. Fourth, centralizing ownership of waiting room content reduces last-minute scrambles during policy changes and survey preparations. How it works in practice: a common example is a compliance officer updating privacy or safety policy, while waiting room screens still run old loops created by local staff. Marketing or patient engagement teams may manage playlists in separate tools, while operations managers assume someone else owns clinical disclaimers and emergency instructions. The process breaks when no one checks screen content against the latest policies, and updates depend on ad hoc emails or walk-by observations. When operations takes ownership, they align screen content with policy change logs, define who approves clinical and safety messages, and schedule regular reviews so locations stay current. One practical adjustment: this week, designate a single operational owner for waiting room screen compliance and have them spot check one current playlist against your latest privacy, safety, and emergency communication policies. What to do next? Here are 4 takeaways. First, review inventory all waiting room screens, including who controls content and what tools or playlists they use. Second, map which on-screen messages are compliance or safety relevant and identify the policy documents they should mirror. Third, define an approval path for clinical, safety, and legal messages that includes compliance review before publishing. Fourth, set a recurring review cadence tied to policy update cycles and budget planning, and document it in operations procedures.